Good morning, everybody. I want to wish you all a happy Israeli Independence Day. That's today. It's a day when, as Jews, we really have something to stop and think about and to be proud of and to be grateful for and to appreciate the incredible miracles that have transpired within our lifetimes. You know, we live in this incredible generation. We are the generation that has merited to see the return of the Jewish people to the land of Israel after 2,000 years of exile. You know, if you think about our grandparents, our great-grandparents, our great-great-grandparents, if we could tell them, you know, that today you can just jump on a plane and go to Israel and visit and go to the Kotel and pray at the Western Wall and go to places like Hebron and Shiloh, they never would have believed us. It would have been a complete, total pipe dream. You know, sometimes we have, when we go to Israel on our trips, we have Shabbos dinner, Friday night dinner, overlooking the Kotel, overlooking the Western Wall. And it's just like you have to stop and pinch yourself. Like, is this real? Can you imagine what our bubbies and zaydis would have given to be able to have a Friday night meal, Shabbos meal, and opposite the Western Wall? It's just unbelievable. And yet we are the ones that live in this generation where we are witnessing with our own eyes the return of the exiles, the return of the Jewish people back to the land of Israel. It's an incredible thing, and we have to be so grateful and appreciative. In that sense, I want to share with you, I'm going to read to you something I find very beautiful. It's called a modern day Dayenu song. It was written by a rabbi named Doron Perez, and I'm going to read this to you, and we mentioned this last night in the class, but I think it's very beautiful and worth reading. A modern day Dayenu song. If God had brought us back to the land of Israel, but not given us a sovereign state, Dayenu, it would have been enough. If God had given us a sovereign state and allowed us a taste of freedom and dignity, but for a moment, but we would have lost the war of independence, Dayenu. If God had helped us be victorious in the war of independence, but we would not have succeeded in building a viable country, Dayenu. If God had helped us build a viable country, but had not brought back hundreds of thousands of Jews from Sephardic and Yemenite backgrounds, Dayenu, it would have been enough. If God had allowed us to win the 6-day war, but had not given us back the holy cities of Hebron, Beit El, and Shiloh, as well as the Golan Heights, Dayenu, it would have been enough. If Hashem had given us Hebron, Beit El, and Shiloh, and the Golan Heights, but had not allowed us to liberate the old city of Yerushalayim, Dayenu, it would have been enough. If God had allowed us to liberate the old city of Jerusalem, but had not allowed us to rebuild her ruins, Dayenu, it would have been enough. If Hashem had allowed us to rebuild his old city, but not made Jerusalem into the largest city with a population of over 800,000 people, Dayenu, it would have been enough. If Hashem had made Jerusalem Israel's largest city with a population of over 800,000 people, but had not allowed us to live with dignity in secure borders, Dayenu, it would have been enough. If God had allowed us to live in secure borders, but not created a strong and sustainable economy, Dayenu. If God had built for us a strong and sustainable economy, but not ingathered the exiles from over 100 countries, Dayenu. If God had ingathered the exiles from over 100 countries, but not allowed us to rebuild the Torah world in Israel with well over 100,000 men and women studying Torah full time, perhaps the most in Jewish history, Dayenu. If God had rebuilt the yeshiva and Torah world, but not produced so many outstanding Torah scholars and leaders, Dayenu. If God had produced so many outstanding Torah leaders, but not opened the gates of freedom to the oppressed Russian and Ethiopian Jews, Dayenu. If God had opened the gates of freedom to the oppressed Russian and Ethiopian Jews, but not made Israel's Jewish population soon to be larger than that of world Jewry for the first time in 2,500 years, Dayenu, it would have been enough. A lot to think about, and I'm wishing you all a very meaningful day. Ponder that, think about it, and be grateful for the incredible times that we live in. Have a wonderful day.